it's starting to sink in that God has a great life ahead of you. Embedded in your blueprint designs are rich talents, abilities, passions, personality strengths, and spiritual gifts that are yours to discover and develop. If you keep your heart tender to God's calling and cultivate a huge rhino attitude, you are going to do great things for God, no matter what your life work is. My name is Nkosi Jupiter, and today we'll be talking about what about a call to a full-time ministry? So guys, I have a question for you. What if you're going along minding your own business, getting good grades, behaving yourself, growing with God, and trying to figure out what kind of job you need to help you buy the latest new hot car? And then, all of a sudden, God drops this new rock on you. He's saying, hey, I want you to be a pastor. What would you do? How would you respond? Would you say yes, or would you try to find a nice way to tell God, are you crazy? You're probably thinking, no, this could never happen to me. But hey, newsflash, it can happen to anyone. God obviously does not want to call everyone into full-time ministry, but I do think He would love for everyone to be open to a call to ministry. As you grow in your relationship with the Lord, there ought to be some times when you check your signals with Him. I can see you having a conversation with God where you can say, God, I'm doing my best to follow your directions. As of right now, it seems as if you're leading me into the path of probably medicine, and I'm excited about that. But I just want to remind you that if you want to interrupt those plans and call me to give you the first 10 years of my life, I will willingly do so. Cause I really want to do your will. And in that prayer, you might hear God respond, no, you're doing just great. I like where you're heading. And thanks for asking. You never know until you try. Some of you, however, might feel as if God is calling you to ministry. For some, that call has already come true, loud and clear, and you're pursuing it. But for others, you are still praying hard, trying to figure out for sure if this is really for you. There's no simple 1, 2, 3 formula I can give you to help you know for sure you're specifically called for ministry. No one can tell you that for certain. There is something you ultimately have to work but between you and God alone. You may be wondering, how will your call first come? A call from God is like a snowflake. No two are exactly alike. God never runs out of unique ways to get His message to us. There is no one perfect way for a call to come. I want to share with you some stories where God would have called a few persons to serve Him. Maybe one of these stories may be similar to your own personal life. Let's start with Nathan. Nathan said, all my life, I knew that God wanted me for something big. When He saw how passionate I was about leading praise and worship at my church, He began to show me that I should pursue that as my life work. Brandon said, when I was 15, I was at church camp. I had really been struggling to know what I was supposed to do with my life. My youth pastor had been praying with me about it. Then one night that week, it just came to me. I want you to be a youth pastor. And since then, he was very relieved to know. Mary stated that her call has been with her so long that she can't even remember not having it. It's as if this was what she was created to do. Sarah said, it just happened one day when I saw it was possible to give my whole life to something that I thoroughly enjoyed, and that brought me extreme fulfillment. That something was working with children. Okay, I'll share one more. Here's Megan's story. When I was 10, I was reading a children's missionary book, and when the girl in the story told God she would be obedient and go, I felt a really strange feeling. I was wondering what had happened. I said, God, if that was you, please do it again. He did, so now I'm setting for the mission field. We always hear people say, I felt God's call, but do we often know how do they feel? So, Zach said, it felt as if God was tugging at my heart. BJ said, my call felt like a quiet whisper at first, but now it has become a war cry in my heart. Joshua said, the call makes me feel like if I were to do anything else other than full-time ministry, I would be wasting my time. Paige said, my call came like a yearning to help other people and also like a desire to do more with my life. Stephanie said, my call feels like my shadow. It is always there, like an ever-present burning within my heart. My call always reminds me of my purpose in life. Finally, Andrew said, it was like a realization of something I should have done a long time, but I never knew how. Like, oh, duh, be a youth pastor. Before we go, I must discuss this burning issue. Some of you who think you have a call to ministry may be struggling with another kind of question. There may be stuff in your past that you are not proud of. You may have been messed up before in your life, or there's something that is basically holding you back. Well, the good news is God forgives us. When we confess the sins of our past and tell Him how sorry we are, then He wipes our screen completely clean. He gives us a second chance. If you're wondering if God can use a person like you in His ministry, remember, you're in good company. Because Moses stuttered, David's armor didn't fit, John Mark was rejected by Paul, Timothy had ulcers, Hosea's wife was a prostitute, Amos was a grade school dropout, Jacob was a liar, David had an affair, Solomon was too rich, Abraham was too old, David was too young, Peter was afraid of death, Lazarus was dead, John was self-righteous, Naomi was a widow, Paul was a murderer, Moses was also a murderer too. Jonah ran from God, Miriam was a gossip, Gideon and Thomas both doubted, Jeremiah was depressed and suicidal, Elijah was burned out, John the Baptist was a loudmouth, Martha was a worrywart, Mary was lazy, Samson had long hair, Noah got drunk, Peter, Paul and Moses all had short tempers. So if God can use all of those people, I'm sure He can find a place for you and me. In case you think God is calling you to serve Him but you're not sure how to answer Him, repeat this little prayer after me. Jesus, I'm humbled that you considered me worthy to be used in ways big and small to accomplish your will here on earth. Help me respond without hesitation whenever I perceive your voice calling me into action. Help me to do great things for you. In your powerful and equipping name I pray. Amen. Thank you guys for listening.